What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our Market Open live stream. Hope you all are doing great and are safe and sound wherever you are. It's been absolutely crazy 48 hours. Absolutely wild weekend. I never thought that this is how crazy things would get, but yeah, with God's blessing, God's grace, everything is good. Everything so far has been absolutely incredibly well taken care of by all the authorities here in the UAE. For all the citizens, residents, tourists, every single person has had absolutely top services coming out of the official channels and the services. I mean, Emirates has been providing so many tourists with hotels, accommodation, transportation, logistics. Everything has been very well taken care of. And from a defense perspective, I mean, UAE has just shown really what it's capable of with the air defense systems with over 98% accuracy and hit rate, and as little casualties as possible, even though it's been attacked for the last 48 hours left and right. I mean, there's been so many big bangs and loud thuds over the weekend that I've heard, that my friends and family members all over Dubai and the UAE have heard. And it's been crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thanks for all your best wishes. I really appreciate it. I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of emails. And yeah, I'm hanging in there, Mike. So far, so good. Taking it day by day, the airspace is still closed down here in Dubai. And I think that's going to be one of the most important leading indicators to where we are in this entire conflict. If the airspace opens up tomorrow, right now Emirates has closed down the airspace and all the flights are suspended until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Started off by Sunday, then Monday, and now it's Tuesday, 3 p.m. And if there is another extension, which I think it will be, because things need time to really die down and for us to cool off a bit, because, opening up the airspace is a pretty big decision. Obviously, if Emirates starts flying again, they have to ensure everyone's safety as a very, very top priority. It's the number one priority. And I think that's one of the biggest key indicator for how things are. And so even today, like in this morning, again, UAE was still part of the targets from Iran. Jebel Ali Port, Ras Al Khaimah, the Northern Emirate, a couple places that did witness some interceptions there. So as long as that continues, I do think there's going to be more extensions for the airspace getting shut down. But as soon as it opens up, I think that's a very strong indicator that things have de-escalated significantly for the UAE to feel very confident to open up the airspace again and for people to travel. Because there are a lot of tourists, a lot of people kind of essentially stuck in the UAE. Of course, for residents, citizens, it's a whole different story. But for tourists, people traveling via Dubai to other places, people traveling to Dubai, there's, again, a lot of rescheduling that needs to happen. But all in all, so far so good, and very grateful and blessed with the defense system that's been protecting all the people here within Dubai. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is that the shopping list is going to get updated tonight. So today, I've been working pretty much all day on the shopping list to get that done. I've already sent it to my developer, and we are going to get that updated on the platform, the MoneyVest platform, tonight. And this is going to be the first of two updates. There's going to be another update that comes out with some new stocks, the small cap shopping list, as well as some new entrants in the shopping list as well. I have taken off HIMS, Oscar, Atlassian to monitor those companies right now before including them in the shopping list again, although they will be still stocks that I obviously have. I have Oscar, I have HIMS, and we will continue that discussion on Discord, but they will be taken off. They will be put on high alert, essentially monitor those companies for future earnings and what the company is doing, what the management is doing, to better understand if they are worthy of being back in the shopping list or not. So we will monitor those companies. And the second update, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be including for small cap companies and some other stocks that we're going to be adding. Some new companies that I'm in the middle of researching right now will be included in the second update. But this one is going to be updating all the fair values, all the buy targets. I've already put down the numbers. And of course, all the stocks are also going to be part of that shopping list. So about 36 to 40 stocks are going to get updated tonight. Expect an update on Discord. I will send out the update with the announcement over there. And then later this week, we're also going to be including the ETF shopping list as well. So expect that towards the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the ETF shopping list to also be part of the MoneyVest platform. That's going to be under shopping list. There's going to be 2 tabs, stocks and ETFs. Stocks is going to get updated today. ETFs is going to get updated by the end of this week. So we're going to have a lot of ideas and a lot of things to look forward to for this week, as what we are planning to buy and what we are planning to dollar cost average into. So these are where the American military bases are, right? So, I mean, they've been targeting the military bases, yes, but towards the last like 24 hours, it's kind of felt like they are targeting the Dubai International Airport as well. Because since I live very close to the airport, I've seen interceptions quite literally above my home. Like, the video that I shared in the Discord was literally right above me. And the airport I can see, right? So one of them actually got hit with the interception because that actually happened, I think, towards the end. But then airport and then military bases, yes. And then the ports, the Jebel Ali port has also been targeted from all what I've researched and learned. So again, the interesting thing is that the UAE and most of the Gulf countries did not allow the US to use their US airbase to strike Iran. They were very much against it from the beginning. They told the US, no, you cannot use our airbase to launch these strikes. And they were very much, of course, against military force as well. We were very much focusing on diplomacy and actually having negotiation talks. But Iran obviously cannot reach the US, and so they are kind of diverting all their attention to their Gulf neighbors, which is where the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, all of us kind of get involved or get kind of dragged into this into this mess. But yeah, Mark says, pretty crazy. Iran is going scorched earth on all their neighbors. Got to love the air defense systems that were deployed. Yes, 100%. I think that's been a blessing. With the 98% success rate, almost everything has been intercepted midair, and all that's been falling is debris. So that's really what the updates we've been getting. But it's been a wild week. I mean, I never thought that I would be like experiencing this firsthand, and it's the fear of it is kind of different. When I kind of look back over the weekend in hindsight, I was talking to my parents about this as well. Like, it's a very different kind of fear that you have. It is something else. You're constantly looking up, you're constantly watching for sounds, watching with your eyes, like, you're more alert and more aware of your surroundings, significantly more, like 10 times more than I would have been inside my own home. I mean, of course, I'm just like relaxing usually in my own home. This weekend, I've just been 10 times more alert with what's going on outside, what I'm hearing, what I'm sensing. And so it's been stressful. It's been very stressful just to be alert. That's all it is. Like, just to be on your alert has been more stressful. Okay, so are you buying SoFi? Yes, so SoFi, I have updated the shopping list. Again, like I said, shopping list will get updated tonight. I will send out the update. Everything should be having the brand new fair values and buy targets. It's selling off further, down over 4%. Volatility is also higher by over 17% on the back of these geopolitical tensions and, of course, quite literally a full-blown war that's happening. Crypto is consolidating sideways, and crude oil is now sitting at over $72 a barrel. So this was expected. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz has been shut down. Iran even struck down a couple of vessels that have been on fire. I think there's like 15 people that are evacuated away from those vessels, but they did mentioned over radio that the Strait of Hormuz is closed down. Nobody can pass through that passage, which I mentioned in my previous update as well, and that is essentially 20% of the global supply of oil passing through that passageway. And as a result, it's obviously going to be affecting oil prices, which it is, over 7% higher, trading up to over $72 a barrel. And this indirectly does affect inflation as well. And, what we have learned really is a lot of retaliation talks. I mean, Iran's still been hitting targets in Kuwait, in Qatar. I think Kuwait, there's a couple fighter jets that pretty much got taken down successfully. Ejection of the pilots, they were safely landed in Kuwait, but then of course Qatar, and then even Saudi Aramco's oil refinery, one of the targets getting hit there. There's a big explosion, again pausing supply. It's all affecting the overall oil and gas is getting disrupted primarily. And as a result, you do expect some prices to increase for this, which indirectly, as I mentioned, is going to be affecting inflation at the moment. So this is still, very much up in the air right now. I do think that over the last 24 hours, what I have seen though, has UAE has been a little bit more segregated from these attacks. And so that's why I think, because of the fact that Dubai being such a global hub for tourism and travel, I think they will be able to kind of open up the airspace tomorrow or the day after, or like in the next few days. And it's been more geared towards Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain. Today, we've got a member from Bahrain, we've got a member from Oman in our Discord, and we've pretty much been talking and keeping close tabs on what's happening there. Bahrain still, unfortunately, is dealing with the brunt of that pain right now. So, it's been crazy, to say the least. So it's an ongoing situation. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on how it de-escalates, hoping for a lot of de-escalation, hoping for more talks, and all of this kind of cools down and resolves itself by this week. So, and if that happens, then obviously that creates more opportunity for us to dollar cost average. I haven't even had a chance to look at the markets as much right now, but yeah, I hope you and your family and friends are okay in Dubai. Scoops, thank you so much for that. But SoFi, again, the buy targets are going to get updated once the shopping list gets updated today. So again, I promise today is the day when we're going to update the shopping list. And the second update is going to happen towards the end of this week, with small cap stocks getting added and a few more companies that are going to get added as well. Did you get any sleep? Yes, I have been able to sleep. I've been napping in the afternoon as well. But yesterday I got woken up by some very big bangs and loud thuds. Again, interceptions midair. And then I think I've been sleeping well at night, but then I've been woken up both mornings super early because of the sound. But all in all, I think it's been, so far from what it could be, it's been much, much better handled. And last 24 hours have been significantly quieter. So it's been much better now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy. And then gotta love gold. Gold and silver are moving 100%. So gold, again, due to this uncertainty, gold is now back over $5,400 per ounce here, and silver prices also moving higher, getting up to over $93 a barrel. We talked about silver in the 70s I think being a very good price point. Dollar cost average into it once again. Got up to as much as 121. That still remains the all-time high. And for gold, we talked about anything under 4,500 being a level to keep in mind. And we'd, of course, trading as low as 4,400 not too long ago. Then we were kind of hovering around 4,660 before trading back up to almost $5,400 per ounce now. So, hey Garthik, hope you're safe and sound. Can you please analyze Google and Nvidia and their fair values? So yes, Aditi or Adit, their fair values are going to get updated on the shopping list today. So again, I just got done. I spent the entire day calculating the fair values. It's now done and it will get updated today. So within, say, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, it should get updated and reflect on your MoneyVest platform. So if you go to the MoneyVest website, go to shopping list, it should update all the fair values, all the buy targets for all the companies, okay, that we have there. And so that is something to look forward to, because I've spent a lot of time looking over the forecast for the next 5 years, 7 years, what the expectations are for growth, for compounded annual growth rate, and then essentially, doing a very conservative expectations for growth rates, for PE multiples, and then better understanding what the fair value might look like for those stocks today, and with a 10% margin of safety. So all of that is going to be there. Shopping list Zeta. Zeta is not on the shopping list right now, although I have done some analysis on Zeta for sure. I have done a video on Zeta. So Vault, make sure that you do check that out. But no, it's not yet part of the shopping list at the moment. Can it be added in the future? For sure. And again, there's going to be one more update that comes out after today. So the second update is going to be adding some new companies as well as a small cap shopping list that we discussed, which I think a lot of people were interested in. Hope you're okay. You made me so much money. I might buy a jet. I will fly to get you out if need be. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But even private jets don't help right now because the airspace is closed down. So you can't really get in the air, even if you've got a private jet. I know, I've seen a lot of reels on Instagram, like on social media, like people talking about, oh, I might take a private charter or like jet or something like that. But no, you can't really just get in the air. Airspace is shut down. So it doesn't matter, what you have, you can get in the air. You won't get the clearance. But no, I appreciate the offer, and I might do a rain check and might take you up on that offer maybe sometime else. Some of the time. So buy SoFi now. Can you talk about Palantir? So yes, Palantir's been dropping recently, but again, it's been kind of flirting around the 130 and 125 level, back up to over 141. Again, Palantir is part of the shopping list, the fair values, the buy targets, all of that will get updated in a few hours, and you should be able to see that on your MoneyVest platform. You just go there, moneyvest.com, shopping list, and you will see all the updated values updated as of today, March 2nd, 2026. So it's the first update for the year, and hopefully it's a good one because a lot of them are going to be trading close to the fair value or the buy targets. Maybe they're off by 5%, 7%, 10%, 15%, and that's why it's so important, because they're all down quite a bit. They're down 20, 30, 40% from all-time highs, and that's why the fair value in the shopping list is so important now more than ever, because so many of them are trading very close to their fair values. You don't want to miss out on that buying window or miss out on that opportunity. So Yogi, joined MoneyVest community just now. Excited. That's amazing. Welcome on board. Very happy to have you. Any questions, let us know. We're more than happy to help and answer any questions for you. And futures reaction, pretty muted. I've watched the video twice, but we need to add it to the shopping list. This is going to be a banger. We'll definitely look into that. Let me send me my armor G-Wagon to get you out and bring you to a safe place. I'm not going to say no to that offer. So again, just message me. I'll send you my address, and I'll be waiting for my G-Wagon there. Hope you're safe and try to be indoors until things are settled. It looks like new Supreme Leader died from the last night strikes as well. Yes, so yeah, staying indoors, kind of hunkering down, pretty much been home the whole time. And yeah, just been talking to family, friends, and checking up on other people here in Dubai and other Gulf countries, and making sure that everybody's safe and sound, offering help as much as I can, pretty much. So yeah, but it's been a crazy experience overall. And it does kind of bring a lot of perspective, about life as well. A couple days ago, before all of this, I was having some conflict or arguments within family, some emotional stuff, and like fighting, and none of that. Like over the last 2 days, I haven't spoken about any of this. That has become more like a back burner type thing. And the main thing has been safety. The main thing has been, are you okay? And it brings you so much perspective as well, that a lot of the things that we're just kind of fighting over, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So what are you itching to buy today? I think there are a few names. Palantir, I need to pick up another 25 shares to get my position up to 100. Netflix has been moving, so up over 13% on Friday, getting up to over $96. I've got the $85 call that I need to manage now. Expires in about next Friday. So I think it might be this Friday or next Friday. I have to look into that, but I have to manage that call because $85 obviously in the money by $10. So we'll see what I need to do there. But there's a few other companies like Amazon, for example, is also down over 2.2%, coming down to low 200s again. Meta Platforms, I've updated the fair value in the shopping list. That's going to be on the platform in 2 hours, coming down over 1.7%. The fair value, the light buys are very close to where Meta is trading. That's why do not miss out on the shopping list, because there's going to be a lot of companies trading down to some very attractive levels. SoFi, for example, is down 4% in a pre-market, not to mention NVIDIA is also down 1.5%, trading back down to 170, 174, 175. So also trading down to some very attractive levels at the moment. So there's a lot that we can look at from a buying perspective here. I owe you an armored G-Wagon, looking at all the money I made thanks to you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, let's do some Q&A. Let's talk about some fundamentals, macro, technicals, whatever it is that you want to discuss. I'm more than happy to cover it. Markets will open in about 20 minutes here. So let's make this as valuable, as useful to everyone as possible. And let's have a pretty good discussion about what is going on. Karthik is the true definition of money never sleeps. Your dedication to MVC is stellar, and we will thank you for it. Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate that. And yeah, just the main idea is to make sure that you're getting the help that you need and the value. And so the shopping list will get updated. The ETF list will get updated at the end of this week. And some other features and tools will also be introduced on the MoneyVest platform. The goal really for us eventually, for our team and for our community, is to make this platform the best out there for stock analysis. So eventually we'll have insider trades, we'll have analyst estimates we already have, but then 13F filings, so institutional investors and their trades, in other words, elite investors as we had it last time, and then adding more custom tools and features for you to just use this, your one-stop shop for all your analysis for stocks, looking at earnings, looking at economic calendar data points, seasonality, the volatility dashboard, RSI, MoneyVest index, all the macro features, everything here. So eventually we might have content like actual videos also here that are being, you can watch, and everything pretty much managed within the MoneyVest ecosystem. So we're very excited about that. So Thomas, VIX is at 23.26. What do you think it will close at today? So hard to say exactly where it's going to close at, but what I can tell you from my experience is that when volatility is elevated as it has been over here. So, oh my God. It's so it's been elevated here. You've been pretty much trading at around 17 to as much as 22. So obviously we haven't seen volatility as high as it is in the 17s, 18, 19. It's usually been at 25, 30, and then it drops back down to like 13 or 14. So in the past also we've seen volatility much higher, and then it crushes back down to 13, 14 levels. So the fact that it was already elevated tells you a little bit about where the market sentiment was. We were already kind of gearing up for some kind of uncertainty, which led into the FOMC, the unemployment, inflation, and then geopolitics, and all of that, and already getting up to over 23. So if it continues to move up, right, I'm going to be watching closer to 29 to 30 levels. So if you come over to the VIX dashboard, what you'll see is that we are in the 77th percentile right now. So that is still pretty normal. It is not until after it gets up to over 30, so really just call it 28 to 33, is when it kind of cracks above that 90th percentile. And so the higher it goes, the higher it is going to be in terms of percentiles, and the more rare it becomes from a market's perspective. So again, where is it going to go from here? Nobody knows. I don't have the answer to that, and neither do you, neither does anybody else, but we're going to be watching percentiles. That is really what matters. So, okay, let's see. Usually the VIX spikes don't last long, but the VIX has been high for a while. Do you think it will continue to stay high or of course it will go even higher now with the war? Yes, so like I said, I mean, it doesn't usually stay as high as it has been, but if it is elevated, that is a clear indication that markets are buying more cheap insurance, they're hedging their bets, they are looking for, or they're at least preparing for more downside. And if volatility does, spike higher, it gets up to over 30. So anything over 30 is really our big signal there, because the MoneyVest index will probably drop below 3 as soon as the volatility gets over 30. The market breadth will come down as well, although it has been holding up pretty well, because this has still been a very much of a tech and software sell-off, and the market's been rotating away from tech, software, SaaS companies over to other names. So consumer defensives, energy is having a fantastic year. If you take a look at, performance, energy is up over 25%. It's going to be up even more today after oil price jump of 7%. So energy is having a fantastic year. So is materials, so is staples, defensives, industrials. They're all up substantially on the year. So this has been a pretty substantial rotation away from tech, away from growth, over to other sectors there. Yes, can you show us a chart of the Dow, Nasdaq, and how Nasdaq is underperforming right now? Absolutely. So let's take a quick look. So Dow divided by Nasdaq composite, and this is the underperformance. This is the outperformance of the Dow relative to the Nasdaq. So you want to probably see the opposite of this. So in Nasdaq over Dow, and this is the underperformance. So, and the thing is that we will see these periods of underperformance over the course of our investing journey, but I also want you to focus on the overall trend, which is that the Nasdaq has, completely destroyed the Dow over many, many years, right? Since 2002. So like that's been 24 years of pure dominance and leadership from the Nasdaq over the Dow Jones. But you will see periods of risk off. This was a series of risk off, and right now again risk off that investors want to move away from technology, away from growth, away from AI, over to more value sectors and more value parts of the market. So that is where we are at the moment. So this again is very normal, something that we have seen before. If this continues, of course, it can head down lower, 0.4, 0.37 to as much as 0.3. But all of that is going to create more deals and discounts. They're going to make very high quality names trading at even better prices if it continues to sell off. So we thought Karthik's dedication was off the charts after the airplane bathroom video. Now he goes live during war. At least hit the like button all. Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate it. And yeah, it is quite chilling times for sure. Never experienced this before in my life. If I want to see the buy list, I need to join Patreon group. Is a site or an app where I should look for the list. So yes, if you're part of the Patreon, if you're part of the membership, you automatically have access, free access to the platform. So you can pretty much look at the entire MoneyVest platform, do any stock analysis, go over to the MoneyVest index, go over to market dashboard that we have for S&P, NASDAQ. Then you have market snapshot, market concentration, volatility dashboard that we recently created, RSI dashboard for the S&P 500, market seasonality, then earnings calendar, economic calendar, and then of course going over to any stock specific pages, looking at the MoneyVest metrics, looking at fundamental analysis. And we also added the capabilities for you to actually start plotting these things on the platform as well. So if I reload very quickly, there you go. So you can now actually start looking at revenue over the last 7 years, 10 years, whatever, quarterly revenues. You can start plotting this. You can look at the revenue growth. It's going to show you like a nice line chart, bar graph, operating expenses, interest expense, whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to plot on the chart, you can pretty much do that visually, and then come over to fundamentals, analyst estimates, all that. And then the shopping list is going to be all the way down here, is we can also look at. So yes, all that on the MoneyVest platform, which all the members have automatically access to. Stocks of buying airline stocks at these levels. I was actually thinking about that, I was definitely thinking about it, but I think the only airlines that actually make sense to be buying right now is Emirates. And I don't think that Emirates is a publicly traded company. I don't think it is. There are a lot of stocks here in the UAE that I think have been selling off that are pretty good deals right now, because Emaar Properties, for example, is one of the biggest, property developers, real estate management companies here in the UAE and probably in the world as well. It dropped over 4%. Markets were closed today. The DFM, the Dubai financial markets were closed, but there's Emaar, there's Salik. I think Salik is for sure an opportunity here because it actually is one of the exclusive toll operators in the UAE, and the traffic outside is zero. There's no cars on the road. So this is a temporary pullback that you're going to see once population starts to drive again, when there's more activity, more busyness, more traffic, more tolls, and it's going to get a nice little rebound. I think this is also something that I'm looking at. But because the markets are closed, we're not getting a further sell-off, right? Otherwise, if the markets were, let's say, open today, we would have seen a bigger sell-off for Salik, for Emaar, for Emirates NBD, for like banking, for real estate, for transportation, for logistics, for like all those would have dropped more. But I do think that, but then if you're looking at jets, it's going to be mostly, I think, U.S. carriers, U.S. airlines. They're down 5%. Yes, some of their routes are getting disrupted to the Middle East, but how much of a hit is that really? And then what kind of recovery are we expecting? So yes, there might be some swing trading opportunity there for jets because, like I said, they're going to be mostly comprising of U.S. airlines, right? Which for them, the U.S. airlines, the Middle East routes are going to be a small portion of their entire revenue base versus if you're looking at a Middle East carrier, Emirates, Etihad, Saudi, or Qatar Airways, like if they were publicly traded companies or was an ETF for that, I think that would have been a better opportunity in the airline space, because right now you're looking at Southwest, United Airlines, Delta, American Airlines, and I doubt like Sun Country Airlines has routes to the Middle East that they're getting affected with. I'm sure they do, but like not a significant portion. And so, yeah, I mean, there's maybe some opportunity, but not as much as what I would have thought for Middle East airlines. Okay, let's see. If SPY breaks below its 100-day average, will it head to $650? Let's take a quick look. And where are we for the 100 SMA? 100 SMA is going to be sitting around $680, I think. Yes, so $680. So Yeah, I think it's been holding up pretty well. And if it does break below, I would still be watching 675. And if 675 gets broken, then I think 650 is the next big support for the S&P. So yes, I would agree that if you do break below those levels, then 650 is those next levels. Do you recommend buying any energy stocks today? So I think energy has already moved up quite a bit. I mean, if you take a look at XLE, just take a look, right? I mean, how much it has already moved. It's now going to start becoming a very overcrowded trade. So, since December of last year, call it the beginning of this year, energy is up 3.5%, pre-market is up 33% already. By the standards of energy, it is already a lot, right? You don't really see energy actually move up in this parabolic fashion as quickly as it has. And so, I would argue the move has happened. Can it go higher? Yes, absolutely. If oil prices continue to go up, depending on how long this lasts, this can continue to move up. But this is going to become an overcrowded trade, and where you want to be are places where investors are leaving. Investors are no longer investing. Investors are like, you know what? They're kind of scared or they're kind of uncertain in those areas, because that's where the discounts and deals are. This has already been working. This is the trade for 2026. This would only be a trade, in my opinion. But don't overstay your welcome given how overbought we already are, technically speaking. So you want to be looking at trading this in and out, but not holding on it for long term, because if oil prices start to rotate back down, so will energy. So yeah, as Volatile says, energy stocks are extremely volatile. They're spiking up and can come crashing in a nanosecond, 100%. I think they are going to be very volatile. Okay, airline businesses are messy in my humble opinion. Yep, so they are, for the most part, pretty indebted. They are also, the one company that I'm actually looking at that is quite interesting. I actually had a call with Mumu. I don't know if you've heard of that brokerage company. They reached out. They were looking at potential collaborations, and I'm definitely going to ask for your suggestions and opinions as well, if anybody's used Mumu and how their experience has been. But I was looking at Futu. Yeah, so Futu is the holding company for Mumu brokerage, and I was looking at their fundamentals because, if I'm looking at, let's say, collaborating or partnering with anything or anyone, I want to look at their fundamentals, right? How strong are they? And man, it got me like really impressed with their fundamentals. Like revenue and profitability is staggering. I mean, just take a look at those quarterly numbers, right? So I'm just going to pull it up here. I hope it opens up because it's a company based in Hong Kong. Let's see, financials. There we go. So if you pull up quarterly numbers, I'm going to go over the last 12 quarters, and we're going to just put up revenue, and then I'm going to put up net income. I mean, this is just absolutely insane how strong this company is. If you're looking at net income margin, you're looking at a net income margin of well over 50%. So this has been incredibly strong margins with very strong quarter-over-quarter growth for revenue and profitability, and the stock's been selling off. So this is one that I may potentially add as a new company in the shopping list. So provision of digitalized financial services, offers securities brokerage and wealth management products, and is based out of Hong Kong. So, and they've got operations in many places. Like they were, telling me about the jurisdictions that they operate in: US, UK, most of Europe. So very similar to Interactive Brokers, offering a lot of tools. So, how you have Webull, you have Robinhood, and then you have Mumu as well, which Futu actually owns, and they're very profitable with an incredible balance sheet as well. So Mumu is one of the most used brokerage in Singapore. That is very good to know, because I was looking into that company. I mean, they reached out. They were kind enough to offer up some collaborations and partnerships, and I learned about Futu being such a strong business. And I was like, you know what? Not only from a collaboration perspective, I mean, even from a stock perspective, this company seems to be very solid and very well positioned. And then the balance sheet is also pretty solid, right? We're looking at more more cash than assets on the balance sheet. So if I put down cash and then I put up liabilities all the way at the bottom, so let's say total debt, we're looking at total debt around 13 billion, cash sitting at 10.7. But if I just look at long-term debt, which is going to be right about here, long-term debt right there. So there you go. So we're looking at long-term debt. That is pretty much nothing. So all there is total debt 13.6. Most of that is going to be current debt, which is 13 billion. So there you go. That's the balance sheet. So yeah, I mean, one to consider right now, trading at a support roughly around 142, 143. If it breaks down further, we're going to be looking at $70, $71. And they pay 8.1% on uninvested capital. That's incredible. That's amazing. So that's good to know. All right, so market's about to open in a few minutes here as volatility stays up almost 19% higher. 29 to 30 is what we're looking at. And just go in 1 second. So yeah, that's where we are with the resistance up to $29.30 per share. Not per share, but volatility 29 to 30 is what we're watching. So I like bull. That's great. Thoughts on SoFi? So again, we've talked about SoFi a little bit earlier. Make sure that you go back a little bit on the live stream. I covered SoFi in quite detail. But right now, as it stands, S&P 500 down about 1%. We've got the QQQs down over 1.4. Nvidia is dropping over 1.5%, and Tesla's down over 2.8% pre-market, trading back under $400 as crude oil is on the move higher. So is volatility. So both volatility and crude oil on the move, and the Money Invest Index most likely is going to open lower at potentially under 3.5. So we're going to be back in neutral. And the NASDAQ 100, I'm kind of curious to see, are we going to be below 3 or close to low 3s here is where we're going to maybe end up once the market opens here. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. I really appreciate it. And again, link is going to be up pinned in the comments and also down in the description. If you want to join and be a part of our Money Invest community, as promised, the shopping list gets updated today with all the fair values and buy targets. These are fair values calculated by me using very conservative expectations of future earnings discounted back to present value. And that's the fair value. In other words, the intrinsic value for that business. And then the buy targets are going to be support levels combined with some other fundamental levels that where I believe the prices are going to be so low that the no-brainer PE multiples are going to be very attractive. So just want to clarify, these are not buy targets like they are called buy targets. Targets meaning that I don't expect the prices to come down to these levels. These are not price predictions, that I'm not saying the prices are going to come down to these levels, but instead these are levels where if they come down to these levels, they would make for very attractive deals and discounts. The prices would be very good at those levels for us to DCA into for the long term, right? So this is a long-term shopping list with levels that I will be buying at if we see them. So I hope that makes sense. Again, any questions, email me admin@moneynvest.com, and we'll keep you guys updated with everything. Hopefully things kind of cool off a little bit. I think we are just getting some updates from DXB as well, that they're going to temporarily open up the airspace and start moving some flights. And so we'll keep you guys updated with all of that. Again, the 40% annual discount still available. So if you want to join, again, a couple more days until it is there. And after that, it's going to go away and be expired. So any questions, email admin@moneynvest.com. Happy to help. Take care, everybody. Wherever you guys are joining from, please take care of yourself. Be safe and sound. And I'll see you all in the next live stream. Take care.